Okay, photographers, I'm going to tell you something and you will either disagree with it or you will agree with it but hate it. So if I was to tell you that in our future, much of our lives will be in either virtual reality or some form of augmented reality, you'd probably think, no way, I'm not doing that. Or you might think, unfortunately, that's probably true. Regardless of what you think, it's simply a fact that one of the biggest companies in the world and one of the controllers of the entire internet have bet their entire company's future on virtual reality and augmented reality being a massive part of our future, or the metaverse if you want to call it that. Now I want you to keep that in mind while I show you something, okay? This 3D camera was sent to me for free. Now there are 3 reasons why a YouTuber would accept something for free: because it's a free thing, and I promise you that novelty wears off pretty quick, to make money from it, and I've denied the affiliate system on this camera if that helps. Curiosity, something you've never seen before, and that's the reason why I said yes to Kandao sending me this camera. I've simply not tried anything like this. Spoiler alert, I kind of have actually, but anyway. This is simply a 3D camera, and this kind of got me thinking about the future of photography and where things are going. Now, not many of my subscribers know this, but a big part of my non-YouTube life is spent working in the immersive industry, in 360 content, shared VR, and while I'm not hiking up mountains, I'm also spending time sword fighting, jumping off buildings and things in VR. And one thing that I absolutely know for certain is that in virtual reality and in augmented reality, 3D or depth perception is super important to achieve that presence that you get in virtual reality. If it's a 2D image, it kind of just feels like it's placed in front of you, but when it's 3D, so a slightly different image in each eye, this makes you feel like you're in it, you're in the image. Now Meta have already made us live in a world of hashtags, reach and engagement, and so many other strange things that have absolutely no basis in our natural world. So in a world where Meta have brute forced you to, at least in part, live your life in an immersive way, either in your office or in your work or whatever, how do we display our photos in that world, in the metaverse? You see, in my day-to-day life, I have no kind of place for a 3D camera, but in the world of the metaverse and things like that, 3D images are not just good, they're probably essential to really convey a power and presence that virtual reality really kind of demands. So this is not a VR camera, this is a 3D camera, so it doesn't shoot 360 images, it shoots a standard aspect ratio but in 3D. And what's cool is you can actually view these straight away on the camera with this little 3D viewer. The problem is, for something to be 3D, you need to have 2 different images, and that's why it's kind of got these 2 little lenses at the front there. So those will take 2 different images. So when you put the thing on the back like that, you kind of get this viewer, and you can see here that you look through those little things like this, look down, kind of like a periscope. It automatically splits the image and you can see in 3D. It's very cool, and it reminds me a lot of the Viewmaster. When I was young, my granddad had one of these Viewmasters and loads of images of moon landings, and I'd play with it for hours and it felt like I was really in those images. There was only like 12 on a roll or something. You go chick, chick, chick all the way through, and it was the most amazing experience. This feels the same. I took a few pictures of my family, and those images, when looking through the viewer, immediately look like memories. And that's kind of the problem that we've got. The biggest shame is that I can't really show you those images in this video in a way that does them justice, because in order to see them, you'd need to either look at them through the camera or in a VR headset. And we kind of don't really have that. There's no real day-to-day world where I can just send you a 3D image and you can just look at it. But what about when we do have that? Now, I can only see cameras like this being the future if Meta succeed in putting VR headsets on all of our faces. And while I'm an outdoor enthusiast and I spend most of my time in the sort of damp, bitter cold of the UK, I kind of think they probably will succeed. It will probably be more in the form of small, accessible devices that, you can put on like glasses. I really hate the idea of an office full of workers all wearing these VR headsets. The trouble is, it probably will be pretty good. And if you'd have told someone in the 90s that everyone would be holding one of these devices, they'd rarely put it down and definitely wouldn't leave the house without it, and they would be constantly uploading little pictures and things, adding all sorts of different metadata, and it would become an obsession for most people, you wouldn't believe me. And that's why I think most people are not ready for this world of immersive virtual reality, augmented reality. And so I suppose the takeaway from this video is, This is an interesting little camera from Kandao, and I'm glad I said yes to accepting it. And I have a funny feeling that in the future, something like this will be quite common. What do you think? Photography in the metaverse. What are your thoughts? 3D, 2D, not for you? And if you missed it, check out this video about buying broken lenses, my favorite type of lens to buy, and I will see you in the next one.